Hi, everybody. Welcome. I might cry at some point, but we are at our first DTS Sound Space live with Lovely the Band. Hi.
Hey.
Jordan, Mitchie, Sam. It's good to see you, man.
You too.
So we are sitting, usually we'd be sitting a little closer, but we have to do the social distance thing because we're still in a pandemic.
Yes.
So I want to bring the story kind of back to the beginning. The last band that I saw was Lovely the Band, and it was at Big Bear. Mitchie, you have a fun Big Bear story. Please remind us.
I forgot that I was in my 30s and tried to full send on a snowboard and broke a rib.
Yeah, but then we were stuck in a snowstorm.
Yeah.
The sun came out, you played, and then we all went into lockdown. I Zoomed with you.
Yeah.
And now you're the first band that I get to interact with live, so it feels really good to see you.
You as well.
It's meant to be. This might be the beginning of like a new chapter, is what I'm hoping.
Yes.
Okay, so let's start with Jordan so we don't have to keep doing the mic back and forth.
Okay. Yes.
But have you been quarantining together? Because I see that you're very close. So have you been in the bubble?
We have been and we haven't been. We have been in the sense that we're always kind of over at each other's houses. We're cooking together. We were grilling like we were talking about
You're
earlier.
in the bubble.
Yeah, exactly. But then when we need some time alone, we have our own spots that we can go kind of venture to.
I'll ask you this. So when lockdown first happened, because I've spoken to Mitchie, when lockdown first happened, what were you doing? You were ramping up to release a new album.
Yeah.
So how did it hit you? And do you remember, take me back 8 months and tell me about how it was for you.
Well, we were ramping up to go on the Loneliness for Love tour, which was the biggest and most ambitious tour we've ever we're set to go on, right? And I remember it was, it was like in increments of 3 and 4 days where we're like, okay, maybe we aren't going to do it. Then we got more news, like, okay, lockdown's happening. Okay, it's just going to be like a month or two. And then we're all like in the group chat, we're all like, oh yeah, like it'll be fine. Like, don't worry about it. And then as the days, got on, history happened. So it turned out we couldn't do that. But that's kind of where we were at in our heads 8 months ago. We were like gearing up to really set on this tour.
So were you more bummed when it happened as a musician, or were you scared as just a regular guy?
I think it was, well, to be honest with you, at the time it was more of a musician thing because that's kind of where we were at, or that's where I was at with the tour and everything. I was like, okay, this is what's going on. But then obviously as things got worse and cases started going up, then it kind of hit me like, okay, now this is like a real crisis we're in. This isn't just affecting, our, careers or whatever, or everyone's careers. It's now affecting people.
Yeah, it got real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Mitchie, we'll keep passing it back and forth. We spoke pretty much, I think immediately after it happened, but one question I didn't ask you, we were so excited to kind of just Zoom with each other that I got a lot of information that day, but when this really hit you, that the tour wasn't going to happen and all that stuff, do you process it, does the artist brain process it, or does the regular guy brain process it? Do you want to, I can write about this, or I'm just going to sit back and feel the weight of this world?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't do anything creative for months. I was definitely just kind of couching it and vibing.
Most people were baking banana bread and doing some tie-dye crap.
I was not.
I did not either.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
did
I
that.
did that.
Fully. I had a whole bunch of emotions flowing about the tour being canceled and then the album coming out and because Jordan said at first it was kind of like we were like, oh, we're gonna get this under control. We'll be a month or two maybe.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. And then we have this great leader in our country that handled the thing really well. And here we are 8 months later, still in the same position. So, but I had a lot of feelings about the whole thing because, there was a bunch of sadness because I was like, damn, we have to cancel this tour now. We have an album coming out and there's going to be no context for it. Because we're like, Daniel, that's the best part. You put the record out, you get to go to play the shows, you see everyone reacting to the music. Now it's kind of like, cool, the album's out, but and then on top of that, my normal human self was panicking because I was like, oh my God, what if we never tour again? Oh my God. On a personal level, I was like, oh my God, I just bought a house. How am I going to pay for this?
Yeah, we all went through that.
But,
what about you? I'm still panicking about that stuff, by the way. That doesn't go away. That doesn't go away. How were you? I'm assuming a lot of the same, but yeah, where was your fear level and where was your hope level?
I was pretty afraid, more so for like loved ones. Like my parents are older, so it really sucked. I couldn't see. My family lives in LA. I live in LA, and I couldn't go see my parents. So that was scary because at any point I was like, I don't know if I have it. I bring it. You know, you go start going down all the cautious routes and stuff. So I was really fearful, but there was that sense of, I saw you talked about bread making.
Yeah,
and it was
banana bread making, to be specific.
A meme months ago. It was like, I wish we could just go back to the part of quarantine where we were all making bread and
I kind of miss that part.
happy, kind of.
There
was nice, no traffic.
No traffic, like dead LA. Yeah.
It was the part of like, oh, this is a nice
This is a nice break.
Yeah, this is a nice break. You know,
We
I'm
could
gonna
all
wind
use this
down.
break.
Yeah, I'm gonna try new things for this month. And
I'm gonna
then
learn
here we are.
Italian and whatnot. I did
months
nothing.
later.
I did nothing. I honestly did nothing. I bought a bike and I strolled around. But
Nice.
do you feel like you were going fast and hard? Were you actually kind of like maybe secretly excited to take a break?
No,
No. Okay.
no.
Some bands are.
No,
Some bands are going hard.
Personally, I like thrive on purpose, having a purpose, and
no, I
like
get
just
it.
kind of sitting and being idle like that. And I like, yeah, it was fine. It was cool. Like for like a little bit, being like, oh, this is like, I haven't done this in years, you know, like just done nothing. But it's getting to the point now where I'm like, now it's starting to get to me again, because I'm like,
the waves.
I'm not used to being home this much. Like, I'm just trying to find things to like keep myself busy, and also like now it's like I started here, and now I'm kind of like finding myself falling back to there, because like I find like I'm like, okay, what, like, because like I'll sleep till 4 p.m. and then like all of a sudden
I wish.
be like, oh, I feel so guilty for like staying up all night watching TV or doing whatever and then sleeping all day, but I'm like, I had nothing to do. Like, so like, what's the point? So
Well, and it was also a unique time for us. Like we said, we had music coming out. We were like, we had been writing, recording, done some
no,
some
you're
shows.
riding a good wave at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, and you still are. So I hope that you haven't lost any hope as far as like where you're going to go, because you're still going there. It's just you took a detour. But I know what you're saying, because I've been along on the Lovelytheband ride for so long. I've watched you guys grow and grow and grow. So
Yeah.
I was hurting for you at the time. I'm like, no, not now.
yeah, that was I think the hardest part is, you know, watching, like, working so hard for the years that we've been a band, and then also like myself just personally like spending my whole life going for this dream, and then finally it's like connecting, and these things are going, we're on this trajectory, and we're like, things are going up, and we're like, yes, we have our second album coming out, yes, we're about to, you know, we were gonna headline the Wiltern here in LA, and like that was like a big
That's a
moment
big
for
one.
us, and you know, we're on this trajectory to go up, and like we were really excited, and like, you know, full throttle, just like ready to hit it, and then all of a sudden just like psych. Like, yeah.
Okay, so to turn it around a bit, do you feel, though, that after going through all the stuff that we've been going through and learning all these lessons and seeing a different part of humanity, that maybe this is going to make you even better musicians and writers, a better band? You're gonna have more tools to create with, but also to face adversity with.
Yeah.
So what are the positives? 'Cause we can talk about the negatives till the sun comes up.
Exactly.
But
I think I was talking to my friend about this the other day. I think some of the positives are we've had some time to be alone individually, right?
yes.
So I think each of us definitely has grown, you know, mentally. We've grown as people. So then, to whenever we can come back, you know, start writing again, start touring again, start doing, you know, what Lovelytheband does.
Yeah.
I think individually we've grown, so that just makes Lovelytheband that much.
I'm gonna
better.
ask each of you this. So
Yeah.
just be honest. What's
Okay.
one thing that you've learned about yourself? Something that maybe surprised you, or something that you had to face that you weren't ready to, but something that you know you're gonna take with you.
I mean, I definitely went through some emotional stuff during quarantine. Everyone did, but I definitely, so you know, some life things came at me, kind of hit me like a brick, And I'm always like, I'm generally like a pretty chill guy, but so this,
You are.
you know, but
Yeah.
like this thing happened and I had to figure out how to deal with it, right? And I didn't know how to deal with it, and I thought I did, and I kept saying I knew how to do it.
Yeah.
So I think I learned that I kind of had to sit back and like be able to reflect on the things that I project to other people, right?
Okay. I like
So
that.
it was very introspective for me.
It's been a very profound time, Mitchie. What about you? And you had a brush with coronavirus, right?
Yeah, I had it in March.
You had it, so I should have led with that, but I kind of wanted to follow your lead a little bit.
Oh yeah, it's fine.
But you had it, and it was a mild case.
Well, it mild in the sense that like it was weird because like I definitely like I have asthma. I've had bad asthma my whole life, and I didn't have like a fever. I had like the only really symptoms I had was it felt like my chest was super tight and like it was hard to breathe for like a week and a half. But it was weird because I didn't think it was corona because in my mind I was like, oh, I felt these feelings. I felt this before. Like I've had this like in my chest before since I was a kid. Like I know what this feels like. So it's definitely my asthma flaring
So
up.
it was a familiar pain in the ass.
Yeah,
Got it.
and but the weird thing was like it was during that time in March when we had like that 2 weeks of like nonstop rain, right when quarantine hit, when it felt
I
like
remember.
the world was
It was
ending.
like
It felt like
freaking
the apocalypse.
doomsday.
Yeah, it felt like the
Every
apocalypse.
day. I kind of enjoyed that.
And then
Yeah.
it definitely made it feel way worse.
Yeah.
Like that, it was just like constant rain.
It was like
felt
that you
the
were
world was
waiting for
ending.
the Rock to come out of somewhere,
Yeah.
like some
Yeah.
doomsday movie actor.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then so I was like, oh, this is weird. Like, and I chalked it up to like my heat wasn't working those couple weeks because I had just moved into the house and just getting stuff situated. And but then I went to the doctor and like a week and a half later I was fine. But the weird thing to me was like, oh, I haven't felt this in like 20 years. So like I was like, this is weird,
Red
know.
flag.
But I didn't. No one knew anything about
No.
COVID yet.
No.
So I didn't have tests, didn't have anything. So it was just kind of like I went to the doctor, and I was like, my asthma's flaring up. Can I get a nebulizer treatment, like a
Yeah, no, I know what that is.
yeah? And
That
he's
was
like, we can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, we can't because of COVID. And I was like, okay. And he's like, so what are you feeling? And I was like, oh, I just like kind of having a hard time breathing. He's like, here's an inhaler. He didn't even think twice about like, oh, you might have corona. But then I was at like in May, I was at a bunch of the BLM protests and stuff, and then we had rented a house in Newport like a few days later to go just kind of write and just chill out a bit. And they were like, can you get tested? Like, because you were just around thousands of people. And I was like, yeah. And I had the antibodies for the thing. And I was like,
Okay.
oh, I guess. And then I would like thought back and I was like, oh, I guess that was.
So what's one thing that you've either learned about yourself or something that you're taking with this? Because you're seeing it from two different lenses, not only like the obvious life lens, but you had the thing.
Yeah.
So what's like, how are you different because of this?
Man, I wish I had some like really inspiring answer, but
It
I don't
doesn't have
think
to be
I don't think I'm
inspiring.
different. I think
think
I
you're
think
just
I've
the
just
same?
kind of coasted.
No, but
And
that's
like
also
taken the day and just been like, because like I said, I thrive on like having purpose, and like I felt like kind of aimless and purposeless for like this entire time,
Yeah.
which has been tough. But yeah, I'm just kind of taking it a day at a time.
slow and steady wins the race, my
Yeah.
friend. What about you, Sam?
I follow this fitness account.
Yeah.
Stuff started not fitting in quarantine.
It's the pandemic
That
20, I
was-
think they call it.
That was oversized fit when we were on tour, and I was like, something is wrong.
Oh, yeah, you look great, man.
Thanks.
You look great.
I lost a lot of weight, so that was good. Still trying to do it, but I learned that in order to do that, instead of me being like, I hate my body, it was I have to love my body to want to take care of it. So
Yeah.
that was like one specific thing I remember learning, and
That's really cool. No, this is incredible because these are the success stories and these are the victories that came out of this. Let's call it like a dumpster fire year. It's a dumpster
Yeah.
fire. Any way you look at it, silver lining or not. But people have gotten to know themselves a little bit better, and if anything, self-awareness is thriving.
Yeah.
So that's for sure. Now we're 2 days away from the biggest election of our lives, if I hear that one more freaking time.
It's true though.
We don't have to get too political. I never like to encroach on an artist's privacy, and I don't like to put you on the spot, but I'll start. I was never a big political person, ever. I was one of those, like, my vote doesn't matter, or I was too busy partying. Okay, and my parents never brought it into the home, whatever. And then Trump happened, and I got like a crash course real quick. And now I realize a little later in life how important it is. So if you don't have to talk about who you're voting for, but tell me about
Voting
why.
for Joe Biden.
Huh? Okay,
And
cool.
Kamala
Me too.
Harris.
Good. I want to know about why voting. Tell us why you think voting is important.
Oh man, I mean, I think that like we saw the gravity of Trump early in 2016, and it's just gotten progressively worse. Like it's just, I mean, it's gotten to a point where it's like, I say this a lot, like it in regards to voting in this election, it's, you know, people are saying, you know, vote like your life depends on it. I'm sorry, but it's like at this point, it's like because you want to dance around the, you know, vote, but really it's like, hey, we got to get Trump out of here.
Yeah.
It's like you got to just vote. You got to vote for Biden right now. We need him
You-
out of
you
here.
just
It's at a
have-
point
yeah.
where it's not about a party. It's not about this. It's about humanity. It's about like saving the planet. It's
And
about
each other.
and each other, and
Yeah.
literally just like, you know, sure, I don't agree with everything Biden has done or stands for, and like, but like a perfect analogy that I heard for me is like, if your car breaks down, it's good, and you got to get to work, right? And it's gonna take, if you walk, you know, your own way, and it's gonna take you 3 days to get to work. But there's a bus that drops you off kind of where you want to go. It's like, get on the bus.
Get on the bus.
You know, it's like,
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
a great analogy.
yeah,
Get on the
it's
damn
like-
bus.
And I think that like we're at a place where, you know, he needs to be gone so we can move forward and try to heal and just hopefully start taking some steps in like the right direction, because like it's scary at this point, and I'm like it's that's like the best way I can put it. It's gotten to a place where that's just like, you know, it's like I'm ashamed to say that I'm American and living in this America. You know what I mean? Well, that is Trump's America.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, it's nothing I stand for, but it's like having to be like, oh, this is the leader of my country. That's just like, it's like I feel shame having to like, you know what I mean? Like,
I love that you have a strong opinion, because there's a lot of people, a lot of celebrities, and this is something that's come to light during this pandemic and during the election. A lot of celebrities will not use their platform because they don't want to be judged or unfollowed or disliked. But
Screw that.
to have strength and character and stand on that platform and say what you feel is really admirable. So I applaud you very
Thank
much.
you.
I want to see you perform so bad. So lastly, we're celebrating 100 years of radio, and Lovely the Band has had a really good run here on KROQ, and radio in general just embraced you right away and continues to. What does radio mean to you? Or growing up, give me like a memory of something you might have heard on the radio that changed your life.
Actually,
Give me that.
actually, I have memory because I grew up in a very Christian household, so I actually wasn't allowed to listen to a lot of the
What is
radio.
that like? Holy.
That was so I got like my dose of like Linkin Park and like
Yeah.
other bands.
Was that like, oh my
from
God.
like my older sister and like her friends. It
Sinner.
was like, hey, listen to this thing. That's my memory.
Okay. Really quickly, when did your parents finally like, or when did you
It was.
finally?
I just got to an age.
You just got to an age that you were like,
Yeah,
okay,
where I went.
okay.
Okay, I can do this now.
Got it. Okay.
radio for me has always been important. You know, I found, you know, as a kid, like obviously, you know, your parents play music in the house and you get the influence from them or whatever. But radio was like, I remember like where I discovered my first favorite bands, you know, like even on KROQ and stuff, like just back in, you know, growing up in Jersey, like KROQ used to be over there. And, you know, I have early memories of like hearing Green Day for the first time and like, you know, Blink-182 and all these, you know, and all these other bands that I was like fell in love with at an early age. And then, you know, later to have radio play a humongous part in our success, and the way it's been embraced us is like, it's a cool thing. Like the radio has always been like, it's this magical, you know, it's this magical thing, this entity that's always just kind of been a big part of my life. And now to have songs played on it is like, you know, that's a feeling that never gets old.
Jordan, I'm going to get really specific with you. Broken is an anthem for so many people, like, I'm fucked up, you're fucked up, let's get
Yeah.
together. And it makes sense. It's an anthem. So what does it feel like to hear it on the radio still being played like it was when it first
It's
came
pretty
out?
funny because even still to this day, I mean, it's been over 3 years, right, since the song
But
came out.
I have no concept of time at the moment.
It's been a while,
but-
and it's funny because people still hear it, and I still get texts or videos from friends, and I look back at the photos of like the early festivals and the early things that we were doing right when Broken was starting to go on the radio, and it's just to still hear it on the radio. It's like a time capsule of like memories of just festivals and good times and hard times and being tired, being mad, being happy, like all of the spectrum of emotions is like in that
Right here.
in that
And it hits you
yeah,
right
exactly.
here.
It's all in that song, which is pretty amazing. That's still obviously being played.
Before we wrap it up, let's look to the future. So you're obviously, I can see it in your eyes, the fire, the hunger, the passion, it's there. So the second that we get the green light and they say go, are you ready?
Oh yeah, I mean that first show back's gonna be like I think
Tears.
I said it. I think I
Yeah,
said it
we were
like
talking
last
about
time.
it.
Like that's gonna be like the best day of my life. For
I'm
sure.
already, you see, I'm already, I
Yeah.
get teary-eyed.
We're willing to slum it. Like I don't care. I'll
I
go
could
play
be
a bar.
guitar tech
I don't
or
care.
a roadie or something. Yeah. I don't think anybody's making it out of whatever building that is alive because I think we're gonna just like fall down on the floor in a puddle and maybe spoon each other because it's gonna be that amount of energy. I know we all love music here and we've been to so many shows, but there's a bunch of stuff we took for granted. Like the days that we're like, I don't want to go to that venue or I'm too tired or I don't want to. Some of that stuff we will never take for granted again.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get out of your way and I'm going to let you play some songs.
Right
and I'm
on.
probably going to cry in the corner. But I just wanted to say thank you and I can't wait to see what's next for Lovely the Band. It's always an honor to hang out with you guys.
Hell yeah. See you
Okay.
soon.